Have you ever wondered why California is called the Golden State? Is it because of its beauty? Well, varieties of different cultures? It is called this for all of these things. But California is also called the Golden State because gold was discovered there, attracting millions of people. California is rich for gold. This period was also called the Gold Rush. Fortune seekers from all over the world conquered the journey to California, faced the difficulties of mining, and introduced new cultures to America. Without the gold rush, the many ideas and divergences of people that are brought to California will not exist today. Before the gold rush, America consisted of free states, slave states, and territories. California had just become a free state because of the Compromise of 1850. The people in America believed in manifest destiny.
Manifest destiny was the belief that the United States of America had the right to extend its boundaries as far to the Pacific Ocean. The gold rush helped attract settlers to move westward, defining the West Coast as an American land.
There were three main types of people living in California before the gold rush. There were about 12,000 Californios, or Spanish-speaking people from Mexico and Spain. They continued to settle in their homeland after the Mexican War. There were also about 20,000 Native Americans, and most of these people were pushed off their lands after the Indian Removal Act. There were only about 2,000 white settlers, and these people wanted to start a new life in the West. These people were soon going to be met by some unexpected visitors. James Marshall, a carpenter from New Jersey, was building a sawmill near the American River in Sacramento on the morning of January 24, 1848, when he saw a flash of gold in a ditch he was digging. Though he and his workers tried to keep their discovery a secret, news soon spread. There were over 100,000 immigrants who came to America. They were called the 49ers because they came to California during 1849. These people were all different in their own ways. Latin Americans hated and were hated by Americans after the Mexican War. The Chinese appearances and attitudes were different from Americans. They were slightly built, patient, and spoke Cantonese. They did not adapt to American cultures and followed their own ways. Many whites came from the East United States, and they were strong believers in manifest destiny. Because of them, many of the people who were native to California were either pushed off their land or killed because of disease. Mining for gold took hard work in impossible conditions. Luckily, the Californios contributed their mining methods. They used gold panning for finding small amounts of gold in rivers and streams. They also used riffle boxes to sift through mud to find gold pieces. Grinding mills were used to crush rocks in the ground so that the gold could be removed from them. Miners lived in camps near gold mines. Food and supplies were expensive, eggs being about $6 a dozen and $400 for a barrel of flour.
The food during the gold rush was somewhat decent and very plain and simple.
Since food was limited and simple, miners favored other types of cooking. These included foods that foreigners brought back from their homelands. For recreation, miners enjoyed gambling and sporting activities. However, mining camps were also violent and dangerous places. As one miner wrote in his journal, in a short space of 24 hours, we have murders, fearful accidents, bloody deaths, a mob, whippings, a hanging, an attempt at suicide, and a fatal duel. This violence was caused by fighting over claims and hatred toward each other. The white people were the most greedy.
They became greedy and tried to force the foreigners off their mines so they would have more gold for themselves. They threatened them off and did anything they could to stop them from mining.
The most bullied were the Chinese because they started businesses where Americans had failed, causing hatred. Soon the California government passed the Foreign Miners Tax Law of 1850, requiring all foreign miners to pay $20 a month to mine. When the discouraged Chinese immigrants gave up mining, they opened stores and restaurants based on their culture. These areas are now called Chinatown. San Francisco Chinatown still exists today as a thriving community.
Few people who went to California for the gold rush brought riches home to their families. Instead, new people were attracted to California and new ideas were brought.
The gold rush also encouraged the settlement of the West, and in turn, caused the many people who live there today. California is truly the Golden State. Because of the gold that was discovered there, wealth has developed and many different cultures and ideas were introduced to it. People from all over the world made the difficult journey to California. They faced greed and discrimination during their difficult search for gold. They also introduced new ideas to America that are still seen today. If the gold rush would not have happened, California would not show the unique differences in history that sets it apart from the other states. More importantly, America would not show the ideas and cultures that were brought to it during that time. This is the reason why the gold rush was considered as one of the most important periods of American history.